Amidst the hotness of the gist of how Anthony Joshua was beaten on Saturday, Tyson Fury has gotten back to Oleksandr Usyk and has accepted the challenge. Tyson Fury's Frank Warren, as he talks up unification bout against Oleksandr Usyk, has said that Tyson Fury's mind is made up and that he wants the fight. This is on the premise of Usyk's insistence on Tyson Fury's retirement and his call for a fight with Fury after beating Anthony Joshua on Saturday. Frank Warren puts it exactly thus: Tyson Fury wants to fight Oleksandr Usyk next and would provide huge problems for his fellow heavyweight champion in a unification bout. Following another clinical Usyk display against Anthony Joshua in their WBO, WBA, and the IBF title rematch, attention quickly turned to a mouth-watering duel to be crowned the division's number one, and both fighters have topped up the prospect. Usyk said after a split decision over Joshua that he would only defend his titles against Fury, while the WBC champion suggested he would be open to ending his short-lived retirement to take on the similarly unbeaten Ukrainian. Warren has now confirmed that Fury has his mind fully focused on the Usyk fight, with the only question marks over where it will take place. Warren, speaking to Sky Sports, said there were talks before the AJ fight and Tyson had to make his mind up, but he has made his mind up and he wants the fight. Usyk wants the fight and we've got to work out a way to make it happen. They both know that the fight is worth a lot of money, which it is. So the question is it going to go back to Saudi or is it going to go somewhere else? Who knows? One thing is for sure, there is no problem in making the fight. Both camps get on very well with each other. Warren, who is also keen for Joe Joyce to get a shot at Usyk should he beat Joseph Parker next month, said he is confident Fury would be able to overpower his rival despite AJ's struggles against the former cruiserweight. When asked how Fury would beat Usyk, Warren answered and said, by being Tyson Fury. I was watching it, Warren furtherly spoke, and I felt I liked Usyk. I liked what he did, but I feel a real big heavyweight. I'm talking about a heavyweight who has got good whiskers and who has got good work rate will beat him. Joe, for example, he's got good work rate. He's got a very good chin. I think it gives him a lot of problems, and I think Tyson gives him huge problems as well. I think they would be just too big and have too much ammunition for him. Joyce, who is fighting Parker on September 24, added, I always thought that Tyson Fury would just slap him about because he's the bigger man. Fury finally accepts the challenge of Usyk. The WBC has told Fury to make a final decision on his future by this Friday, but his US promoter Bob Arum has revealed last week that the 34-year-old will return for a fight against Usyk versus Joshua 2 winner. Once the fight is over, we're going to put together a total unification match between the winner and Tyson Fury, Arum had told Sky Sports. Now, if Usyk wins the fight, which I expect, that will be quite easy to do because we are very close to the Usyk people, as they are the same people who manage Vasyl Lomachenko, who fights for us. Arum continued on Fury, who last fought Dillian White in April. I have talked with Fury and every day is different, but he's a fighter, and if the right fight is there, then Fury will be up for that fight. The right fight is the unification fight against the winner of Usyk and Joshua, and I think based on my conversation with Fury, he will be up for that challenge. How much longer he will go after that, only God knows, and I'm not sure, but I'm confident at least that he will answer the bell for the major fight. Warren, meanwhile, believes Joshua should focus on domestic fights after his back-to-back losses to Usyk. He is in the catch-up club, said Warren. All these guys, Joe Joyce included, they are in front of it, and now he wants to get a seat back for at the table. He's got to work his way through. He's coming off 2 losses and he's not going to get into any mandatory position. There's a great domestic fight for him. There's a great fight between him and Joe. You've got Daniel Dubois. there is a few other fights there for him to have. Good domestic fights. If he gets some wins under his belt, who knows, maybe a fight against Tyson Fury. But all anybody cares about at the moment, as far as the unification is concerned, is seeing that fight between Usyk and Tyson, getting that on. Mirror.co.uk has told of how Tyson Fury has doubled down on his €500 million demand for an undisputed heavyweight title fight against Oleksandr Usyk. WBC champion Fury, age 34, retired from boxing after knocking out Dillian Whyte in April, but has stated he would return for an undisputed clash against Usyk. The Ukrainian made his first defense of his unified titles last weekend by outpointing Anthony Joshua in their rematch. Usyk won the belt last September when he outclassed Joshua in London. The Gypsy King has until Friday to make a decision over his future, but is now ready to negotiate a clash with Usyk, who also said that he would retire if the Brit is not willing to accept the fight. Fury addressed the undisputed fight in a recent Instagram story, writing, "The world's biggest fight has to be the world's biggest money. If I'm to put it all on the line versus some unknown foreigner, boys better get that half billy. If not, keep the little mug. What an insult." If it was AJ, he continued, "It would have been free, but it is not. Only power in the waters." Still quoting mirror.co.uk, since announcing his retirement, Fury has been traveling around the UK for his after-party tour and is currently in Mallorca with his family, which is okay. The Brit reacted to Usyk's 20th professional win by stating, "I've just seen Joshua lose for the second time to Usyk. He was out of his depth. England has been relieved of its belt, but there is a remedy and solution that I can suggest. If you want those belts back, then send in the Gypsy Barbarian. Send me him, and I'll relieve the Ukrainian Dosa of his belt like I did the last Ukrainian Dosa. It's not going to be cheap. If you want the best, you have to pay. It's going to be very expensive. So get your checkbook out, and I'll relieve the Ukrainian Dosa of the belts." Fury made a career high purse of €21 million for his knockout win against Whyte. Mirror.uk.co brought back to mind how close Fury was to securing himself an undisputed fight last year when he was booked to face Joshua in Saudi Arabia. The highly anticipated domestic clash was soon cancelled after a US arbitration judge ruled in favor of Fury's trilogy fight against Deontay Wilder. Fury went on to knock out Wilder in the final installment of their rivalry, whilst Joshua went on to lose his next fight with Usyk. So, what do you all think, guys? Do you want to see Tyson Fury end his retirement to face Oleksandr Usyk? Well, do well to let us know what you think in the comment section. Net Explosives is where you are all in, guys. We are glad to have you all on board. Do well to like video if you love it. Pour your thoughts out into the comment section and share video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't and turn on post notifications for all. It is infotainment till dawn and Net Explosives to the world.